Welcome to the Weird Around Illinois podcast. Today we're going to talk about cemeteries. Cemeteries are areas that seem to come up often in our investigations, and they seem to be very active in terms of ghosts, obviously. And what's kind of surprising is that they're also active in terms of dogman sightings and mothman sightings and other things like that. So we're just going to take a few moments here to talk about why that is possibly the case.
Well, I guess I'll start by saying, ghosts, graves are usually just what's left of usually, I guess, the human body usually, because they, put the body underground, they leave like ashes, stuff like that. That would kind of give a reason why there would be like spirits from those different kind of people that died, and yeah.
Yeah.
Then with Dogman, I'd be thinking that the only way that would relate is if it was kind of like a hellhound. That would be the only reason I could think of. Mothman or anything else, I really don't know why they would be there.
Maybe they could be guarding it.
Maybe both could be guarding it, yeah.
Or, one of our commenters mentioned they saw Dogman digging up graves, or somebody had seen Dogman digging up graves or digging graves. So maybe they're eating human remains or chewing on the bones or something. That's a kind of a morbid thought, but
Yeah.
possible. But if you go back to the ghost thing, I'm just going to play devil's advocate with you here, because I've been hearing my whole life that, ghosts hang out in cemeteries because that's where people are buried and the spirit is attached to the body and all this. I'm going to throw another idea at you. I believe that if there are ghosts, they would be more likely to haunt an area that they spent most of their life than a cemetery. Because I believe the minute someone dies, their soul becomes disconnected from their body. And why would they follow around the old bag of bones that used to be them into some grave site somewhere that they've never been before, rather than stay in the house they lived in all their life or the workplace they showed up at every day? That part has never made any sense to me.
That's a good point.
I guess that's always the problem I've had with the whole haunted cemetery idea. But that being said, I mean, there are a lot of dead bodies in a cemetery, so maybe just by sheer volume, the odds that, one or two people stayed connected to their mortal body, could lead to a couple hauntings.
I don't know. I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the orbs are that people see, like above cemeteries?
A really good question.
Sometimes it might be the rare time that a ghost might just become like non-invisible, and like maybe they just got lucky with the angle and they got to see like maybe the head or something of a spirit, or could just be the camera that's making the orb.
I don't know. Because people have claimed to see orbs, not just in the camera.
Yeah, that seems to be the most common haunting, or the most common ghost sighting is an orb. Usually in a cemetery, but sometimes other places as well. I think the overall thought is that the orb is like some little encapsulated version of a person's spirit. A little ball of spirit floating above their grave or wandering through the graveyard or something.
Oh, so that would be like the entire spirit then.
I guess. That's the impression I've always had. Or they could be aliens, which is another thing that people have claimed to see over cemeteries from time to time. Yeah, it's a really strange thing, and the skeptic in me is saying, okay, cemeteries are creepy places because the one thing everybody is afraid of is death. Everybody does not like to stop and think about the fact that they not just may, they will end up dead someday, and probably end up in a cemetery like the ones that they're going through now. And that elevates the fear factor in people to such a high level that maybe they're hallucinating, seeing things, just their fear is getting the better of them and their rational thought is leaving them, and they're seeing orbs and dogman and ghosts and everything else.
Possibility.
Yeah.
again, when I bring up this possibility, I'm not saying I don't believe people's accounts. I'm not saying that I think everybody who ever saw a ghost in a cemetery is hysterical. I just like to consider every possible explanation.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear your thoughts on cemeteries and maybe what you've seen in cemeteries or what your friends have seen in cemeteries, and maybe why you believe they are such hotspots for paranormal encounters, or why they're not, or why they shouldn't be. Please leave your comments and remember to subscribe. Thank you very much for listening.